The YinTin is finally complete. 2 months ago, I announced that I would be transforming my John boat into the ultimate mini bass boat, and yeah, it went kinda viral. After many strenuous hours put into this project, Matt Downs from Trick Tins has knocked this build out of the ballpark. Everything from the framing to a fine metallic paint job, to the electronics and flashy LEDs, to the layout of the HydroTurf was all custom built by hand. It's so crazy to think how my little John boat went from being so plain to now one of the most unique looking vessels on the internet. With all this hype, let's go pick her up and give you a full rundown of the completed YinTin. Our verse of the day comes from Kaylee's Outdoor Adventures. It is from Psalms 118 verse 24 and it reads, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Truly, truly, this is the day that God has made, and we're going to go pick up our YinTin. But if you didn't already know, Matt Downs has been posting all the YinTin updates on his own YouTube channel. 2 months ago, he was sitting at 7,500 subscribers, and today, he is at 9.69K. Our boy Matt has easily put in 100+ hours into this build. I know what you guys are capable of. Let's get him to 10,000 subscribers to show our gratitude. Hold on, I'm almost done talking. I just want to offer my deepest appreciation for 3 partners that have made this project possible. Angler's Choice has gone above and beyond with hooking us up with a Garmin Force trolling motor. And actually next week, when I fish off the YinTin for the first time, I'll bring it to their shop and we will get live scope and a graph installed. Next up, MillerTech, who have provided 2 lithium batteries. This way the YinTin will be pretty fast and we'll be able to catch those big bluegills that way. And lastly, HydroTurf, who went ahead and got us a custom CNC cut decking material. All right, I don't even have any more words to say. Let's go meet Matt and the finished YinTin. 2 hours later, we have made it. Oh, almost got run over by a minivan. Oh, thank you. Oh, but here we are. Oh, what up, Matt? How's it going?
What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. It seems like it was just yesterday.
I know, right? I think it's pretty obvious that this is the YinTin right here. You want to give us a quick little overview first?
I can.
You know, you've been sending me pictures all the past 2 months, but in person, it just looks so much more different.
All right, so obviously, this boat is a 1436 low. It's a lot smaller than most of the boats I build, but this thing was just bare bones. I mean, we did everything from a paint job, turf, the whole 9 yards. This thing is really a complete tournament John boat now, with except for live well. I'm gonna start up here in the front. I'm gonna show you guys how we built this and exactly what we got going on. So right up here on the bow, this little portion was a little piece that he had originally in here. It's like a little bench seat. I guess you could sit on it if you wanted to, but I brought it down at an angle to drop it down. I wanted to keep this deck height as low as possible because the higher the deck is, the more unstable it gets. So by bringing that down, it allowed me to keep the same height as the original benches that are already in this boat. This thing has probably about 150 pounds worth of metal put into it, and considering the amount of stuff we have in here, I think we did a pretty good job on keeping the weight down. Now, up here in the front, we built this mount. This is all custom mount. This holds this big Garmin Force trolling motor. This thing is heavy duty. I had to make sure that this thing was gonna be locked in here permanently. I welded it across the face, and down the side here, we've got a bracket that I made that attaches it down here lower, and this thing is on there. I mean, this boat is one piece with this thing.
Now, Matt, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think usually on boats this small, you would have a Garmin Force on it, right? Is this a little bit overkill of a trolling motor?
I think it may just be a tiny bit overkill for the size of this boat, but you're gonna enjoy using this motor. All right, so when Ryan first brought me this boat, I noticed up on the front, this whole piece was very thin, and we had a bunch of dents in here from a trolling motor that we had clamped on there. So I built this piece of 1/8" aluminum basically to just sister right over top of it. It bends down on the face right here, and it gives it a lot of strength. I welded that thing solid all the way around, and I also put a new winch eye on the front because he had a handle on there, and it's just not made for pulling the boat up from a riveted handle. This way, the whole front of this boat is going to be stable and secured. He's not going to have to worry about this messing up on him later on down the road.
And I'm just looking around, and I see you have included a very essential thing right here, a cup holder. Cannot forget that. You know, as fishermen, we just cannot forget that we need to stay hydrated, and I think this comes out, right?
It does, it's tight.
All right, let's see if I can do it one-handed. Here, you want to do it?
I got you. Yes, this cup holder was mainly put in here not just for you to have your beverage in, but you need to have room for Angler's Choice to run all these cables and get your graph hooked up in the live scope on this trolling motor. So this is a big enough hole, you can reach your hand up in here, fish wires, and I already have some wires ran up in here so that they can hook up all the components that we're putting up here for the graph and the live scope.
Next week, I will be going over to English Choice and they will be installing a graph, like a 12-inch Garmin graph right here, putting on live scope, and it would just complete everything. All right, what's next?
All right, so we had our drop down deck. Now in the front, this Garmin Force trolling motor, it has a remote with it, and it also has this foot pedal. And now I built this foot pedal tray. I built all these hatches obviously, but this foot pedal tray in specific right here is built for this Garmin Force trolling motor. Now it's not attached in here. We can attach it in there if we want to, but it fits perfectly. It's nice and smooth, and it's got a drain tube on it. Right behind that, we have the coolest hatch in this whole boat, in my opinion. There's a lot of room inside of here. This thing has the Angler's Choice hook on it. It looks really cool. Plus, it's got these pistons on it.
Whoa.
So it'll hold itself open and open itself up. You can get in there, it's a pretty big hatch, so we wanted to put it on the pistons. That way you wouldn't have to worry about holding it up or it falling back and hitting your trolling motor.
Do you think I can put some 30-pound bass in here?
I think you could fit a 30-pound bluegill in there.
That's what's up, he knows, he knows.
These compartments also all have LED lights in them. I'm gonna flip the lights on, you might be able to see them.
All right. Oh, it is pretty bright outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a little bit of shine. Oh, there it is. Wow.
There's a lot of lights in here. There's probably about a 10 strip of lights inside of each one of these hatches. And I think even in the back area, we've got about 22 strip lights inside of there too. This thing is gonna have a lot of lights in it. It's gonna be lit up. You'll be able to see what's in here at least.
So one thing about the original YinTin is that there were no compartments at all. I would literally have my rods and my backpack, everything just laying out, and sometimes my friends would trip and almost fall in the water. You know, this is probably what I'm most excited about. Just the fact that I have this giant storage right here, and what's over here? It's kind of camouflaged.
I know. This turf is pretty cool. This is the red camo hydro turf, and I haven't not had a chance to use this colorway yet, so I was pretty excited that you picked this color, and I think it looks really cool. It does kind of camouflage the deck, but we got two more big hatches right here on this front deck. All these hatches are turfed on the inside, all got the LED lights in them. I put stickers on all of them.
Look at that. I mean, that YinTin logo, we got the trick tins, and then a Fisher Yin. Ooh, you put some turf inside too.
I did. All of the compartments are turfed inside. You have plenty of extra turf, so it makes it really nice. That way your stuff's not gonna be banging around and making noise inside of there. And then there's a hole in the side of this track, and it has a hose attached to the back side of it that drops down up in the bottom of the boat.
Oh, look at that hose. Okay, so you're telling me is if it starts raining and water gets in, it flows down this hole, goes through this tube, and where does it lead?
It will go to the bottom of the boat and run all the way back to the back. You can pump it out with a bilge, or you can just pull the plug at the end of the day and get it out of there.
Oh, that's fancy. We have a draining system on here. Like, I did not have that originally.
All right, so then we've got one more hatch here, and this hatch is pretty big. This one's pretty cool too, because it houses your battery and your battery charger. Same thing with the turf in there. This battery, I forgot I moved this a little bit earlier. I was cleaning it up. This battery has a charger right here for it. And then the fuse for your trolling motor is over there tucked in the corner right there for it. You got a lot of storage in here, even though you got that big battery inside of here too.
All right, Matt's gonna get in the boat. I can't wait to do this in a second and experience it for myself. He's gonna run us through the back part of this boat, which is once again filled with so many things.
The way that this is set up, a lot of times I will incorporate some hatches and some panels into these side panels right here, but with this build he had these cool Angler's Choice logos cut into the turf, so we just use these basically to be full of foam for flotation. I packed underneath the floor with closed cell foam, and it really sets it off that he has these cool logos on here on the turf. He's got the Angler's Choice, he's got an ACM tackle on the other side, and we even had an extra piece of the Trick 10's logo that's in the floor, so I cut that and put it up on this side wall right here. It blends in, but it's still pretty cool. You can definitely see it.
I will be honest, when I was planning the coloration of everything, I didn't take into consideration that the black would just completely camouflage into the black, but I honestly think that's what makes this build special, because I think half of the other people who are customizing their boats like this would probably think through this. And so you probably don't have many boats that have the logos kind of blended in, which I think it's, you know, it's unique. It's almost as if the logos are a part of the boat and it's not just smacked on there and be like, hey, I'm sponsored by so-and-so.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's definitely cool. And I went ahead and I threw these cup holders in the side panels too, because you can never have enough cup holders. And the same type of deal with these. The switch panel is right in front of this, and you can pull this cup holder out of here. If you need to fish a wire back here, he's probably not gonna need to, because I left him some extra wires already ran. That brings us into the back of the boat. Now, this area right here, this is the original back bench seat. This is where he was sitting, driving this outboard, and now it's a finished deck. But this is the big hatch right here. It's got lots of room inside of here. This is the biggest storage compartment he has besides that very front hatch. This one is a lot deeper too. You can fit a lot of stuff up inside of here. The cool thing about this one is that he's got so much room and storage up front now that if he has another person fishing with him, he could probably leave some of this compartment open for them to put some of their tackle in, so they don't have a bunch of stuff in the floor.
I'm gonna set you guys like inside of here just to give you guys a little bit of a feel. Hi. Oh, you guys are currently in the storage. Like, look at how spacious this is. This is like the perspective of a fish that I just put in here. There's not gonna be any water in here. That's probably for like a catch and cook after like a dispatch of its life.
Well, the back of this boat was a little challenging. I wanted to make sure that I could bring the deck all the way back out to the transom. So in order to do that, I had to throw the motor on a jack plate. So I built this custom jack plate. This thing offsets the motor about 5 inches, and it brings it up 4 inches taller. But even better than that, it brings it off of this transom so that I can put these 2 cool doors in here, and it will house his battery and his gas tank. The way that this is set up is pretty cool, because this gas line, it runs right out through the center right here, and it runs down into his tank. Well, his tank has a long hose on it. I actually put some gas in it and tested it, but you can take this tank out and set it on the ground and fill it, and the hose is plenty long enough to reach to the ground, drop it back in here, and it's ready to go. And then on the other side, we have this other 12-volt MillerTech lithium battery, and right behind that is where his charger for that battery is. There's also a bilge pump back here in the back next to this battery. Also, up on the corner back here tucked in, we have the fuse panel. I did not build an electrical panel hatch for this boat just because we're trying to keep down the weight. There's already so much stuff going on in here, but this works out good. You can actually see this will light up if one of the fuses blows. It will light up so you know which one it is. And all 6 of these top ones are in line with the switch panel, which is right here incorporated into the side panel. Now, this thing turned out pretty cool. This is the Blue Seas switch panel, and I use this one because it's going to be exposed and it's waterproof.
So are these switches all just for the lights and everything?
Okay, so these switches are all hooked up. I think the only one you're not using is the very bottom one, but this first one is the LED lights. I put a plug into the back corner so you can put a white 360 light into that, and then up on the front we've got the green and red nav lights. The next switch is for your compartment lights, which are already on. And then below that, we have these yellow interior lights.
Do it again, do it again. Okay, go. Oh, what?
Those are sweet.
Just yellow. Oh.
And then the next switch underneath that is for the red exterior lights, which look really cool at night. It actually makes the whole boat look like it's red because it reflects off of this metallic paint.
Can you go ahead and turn it off, turn it on again? See it. Oh wait, camera, what are you doing? Why are you just glitching? All right, go again. Ooh, I just love this YinTin logo right here.
I like that too. That was pretty cool. I put a lot of logos inside of the whole thing, obviously, but the ones on the outside, it's kind of my specialty. I really like the way those turned out. I try to keep the look of the boats old school, yet still kind of new school. I like the pinstripe look. And I think the colors turned out really cool. These logos right here, my buddy cut these out, and then I just triple stacked them, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt to get perfect, but I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. It looks 3-dimensional with the black, then the red, and then the white on the outside, especially when it gets a little bit darker with the light on it. It really makes it look cool. And I did that with both the Trick 10s logo and the YinTin logo in the back.
I like the 3 stripes you got running through here. Kind of like Adidas, except the funny thing is we're both wearing Nikes right now.
Yeah, no, I think the pinstripe kind of gives it that old school feel. I mean, obviously the turf and everything is definitely new school and crazy, but kind of like to give it some of that old school flair. I think it really sets the boat off. All right, so one thing that Ryan brought with this boat, which I thought was pretty cool, I haven't used these before, but he had the old buckles that are a pain in the butt. You gotta stretch them and then fold them back. We got these cool Strapino straps on here. These things are so easy to use. They're really nice too. That's pretty neat though. You just take that thing off there, put it on, and you push the white button and it pulls it tight. Strap it right down.
This will keep our boat from flying onto the road when we're driving.
This outboard motor, we had some issues with it. I had to change the oil in it because I just couldn't get the thing to run right. I did take it out in the water and tested it, and I got up to 18.5 miles by myself, which I thought was pretty cool considering it's only a 9.9 outboard. One thing about this motor that made it a little bit faster than maybe it was before was because I put it on this jack plate. And by doing that, it brings it up off of the transom about 4 inches, which actually puts this cavitation plate about flush with the bottom of the hull, and it also offsets it back. So it gets into some denser water where it can really catch a little bit better, and it'll get this thing moving a little bit faster up on top of the water.
Wow, that's like some very complicated terms that I don't understand, but all I know is that to simplify it, because of this jack plate right here, the motor has been raised up a little higher, so then this propeller will sit in a better spot, and therefore we will go even faster. Pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it's gonna do.
Thanks for the tour, Matt.
Yes, sir.
And I think now I want to actually hop on and just get a feel for this boat myself, because to be honest, guys, I have not done anything off camera where I'm like just touring this and hopping on it. I want everything to be genuine and out of my first experience. Oh, I'm so bright right now. Let me turn it down. There we go. That's much better. Here goes nothing. Got my fishing rod, got my boat. 3, 2, 1. Oh, whoa. This is weird. The last time I recall walking on here, it was just all metal on the bottom, so it would just be like clang, clang, clang. Now it's soft. Like, check this out. I'm gonna jump a little bit. And that was pretty quiet right there. I think that's one of the best things about this hydro turf. We're gonna try and deploy, trolling motor. Now, Matt did warn me, I can't do it all the way or else it's gonna hit my trailer. Don't wanna break this thing already, but here we go. Whoa, that's pretty easy. Oh man, that thing is sick. Okay, let's bring it back down again. Oh, back to its resting place. Whew, wow. Over here we have the pedal, and wow, that thing is smooth. Woo-wee. Here we go, we got the fishing rod in hand. Let's just pretend that we're on the water right now. Okay, whew, just use our imagination. Oh, okay. So let's say I'm working jerkbait right now. This is like the view in a regular video you guys will be getting. And, oh, there's a fish. Yep, and look at how much room I have. Originally, my wooden deck that I had on here was probably this long. So it ended where I was standing right here, stretched to the front. Matt went ahead, added this whole extra like 1.5 feet. So, you know, for those wild hook sets, and when I'm fishing with my friends, I can just go boom, and I don't have to worry about like stumbling down and, you know, cracking my head open. Wow, this is just like, this is surreal. If you told me at the beginning of this year in January that this would happen, I wouldn't believe you, because I mean, Matt and I didn't really start talking about this until like later on. But okay, let's go to the back. Oh, this is where I would be sitting when I'm piloting this thing. This just feels weird in a good way. It's so comfortable too. Like, you know what? I drove 2 hours today. Get a quick nap and then we'll drive this back home. Oh, how could I forget? I want to experience opening this fancy transformer hatch. Open, and it just opens by itself. What? These pistons are so fancy. This red powder coat is beautiful as well. Let me go ahead and just open all of these hatches, give you guys a first-person view of what it would look like. Oh, there it is. Wow. And you know, I wouldn't advise it, but technically now I can walk on the side. Look at that. Whew. It's a balance act. I'm so spoiled. Thank God for just these cool opportunities. Matt did a killer job on this build, and I really just cannot wait to take this on the water because spring is fully here. The big female bass are pushing up shallow. Next week, when we take this thing out, there's a good chance that we might just land a new personal best because we're gonna have live scope and everything. Oh yeah, 2 guys in a boat.
Living the life, baby.
Yeah. All right, so Matt, now that you are done with the YinTin series, what is next on your channel? Why should people subscribe to you right now if they haven't already?
Well, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, the main reason you should is because I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, and when I get there, I'm going to be doing a substantial giveaway for some of my products. Now, I have a bunch of crazy builds coming down the line. I have so many builds that I'm kind of trying to juggle to figure out which one is the next one I want to do. I've got a lot of other small videos, some how-to videos. I'm going to try to teach you guys as much as I can, not only about building your boats, but how to maintain them and things that you can do when you're actually out on the water to help you navigate and just have an overall better experience.
Now, to tell you guys, just from watching Matt's videos on the YinTin series, I learned so much about boats that I did not know before. And so I would highly suggest you, even if you're a pond hopper, because all of you guys know that me and ponds have like a best friend relationship. I'm so used to just walking circles around a tiny little 1-acre pond. But learning about boats, you are never too young to start doing that. And a great place to do that is on Matt's channel. Now, Matt, do you have any other upcoming collabs that you are currently in the works of?
Right now, I've got a couple of big builds. As far as YouTube collabs go, I've kind of been going back and forth with some Guggen squad members. And
Ooh.
I did do a cool build with Rob Turkla on Lunkers TV. And I'm kind of trying to network with some of those guys. So I'm hoping that that will happen by the end of this year.
I'm just here a little bit scatterbrained. I still cannot believe that this is a reality. Like, this is my boat. This is not somebody else's. This is mine. But I got no more words. Next week, we're gonna take this on the water. Hope we don't sink.